there are some words that jump out of the Gospel loaded with undertones and meanings and associations, for they have been heard before. When the Lord, with a word at a distance, heals the servant of the centurion, we have a passage which is often heard in one specific context, that of anointing the infirm and indeed the dying. It is in the ritual that many priests carry with them, and is one of the two given for that sacrament. And so there are echoes, memories, having read often the Gospel, we see and hear again the visage, the face, the voice of those who have gone before us, because oftentimes this is also a farewell. Indeed, I was quite moved the other day when somebody sent me a video recording of what had actually happened a few weeks ago, anointing a dear friend and seeing that friend for the last time. A person who was definitely ready to go and probably had done a purgatory with atrocious suffering on this side of the frontier, well accepted and well offered, indeed not wanting morphine, knowing the importance of vicarious suffering for the salvation of those who weren't going to make it without the help of the strong. But that kind of anointing, although there may be a few tears in the air, is actually not a sad occasion. Rather, as in the war, Winston Churchill would galvanize the English spirit with the famous victory sign, ultimate victory, so too, at the frontier of eternity, one can calmly anoint and send on home a soul, knowing that that soul is going well prepared unto ultimate victory against not human enemies, but the demons who wish us harm and can't bear that we get the places that they have lost. And it is at that point in time that quite often one is able, within a few seconds, to ascertain by, as it were, a gut reaction and a pastoral instinct, whether a soul has taken seriously the care precisely of itself. For instance, whether a soul at that point sees the importance of making a proper confession, and in that confession, whether that soul knows how to proceed. One can see very quickly whether the person has been confessing often or not, and whether really the gift of time has been well used or badly. And at that point, many things which perhaps earlier in that person's life would have been important find a place really on a back burner. Who cares at that point if one scored well in the Gaelic football? Who cares at that point if one had a beautiful voice? Who cares at that point if one was once extremely good looking? Who cares at that point if one had a brilliant career? Who cares at that point if one scored always first in one's class at school and university? Who cares at that point for anything but the state of the soul before its king and judge. We care about many things when we think we have much time, but time is running out. And there comes a point when either suddenly or gradually we move towards the frontier, and once on the other side there is no return. This pandemic has been a forced pause. Many have actually, for the first time, entered somewhat into themselves and really posed a few questions which they didn't have time to pose before. Memories of the past actually come back in solitude more than otherwise. Graces abused, and happy moments enjoyed. There is one faculty that the soul carries with it into the beyond. It's that of the memory. That doesn't depend on the brain for its continuation. Why? The soul carries with it its baggage of merit, and merit is linked with the use of past moments, and therefore those past moments go with it and actually reappear. After death, the video begins. We see it all, and we are our own judge. There are many now, because of modern medical skill, who have been there and back, and their testimony is always interesting. Ask them whether it's real or not. We on this side tend to minimize the other side because we can't hear it, but they hear nothing else. Just imagine if one is waking up 1 second after crossing the frontier and one realizes there that one wasn't ready and there's no coming back. And we who preach are responsible for the consequences of what we never warned about. Who cares if people don't like us for saying certain things? When people are uncomfortable, they start to get agitated. And when they hear what they don't want to hear, they can shift the onus of responsibility onto the person coming at them. Why do certain words produce certain reactions? Is there a sinister force? We have heard in the whole realm of exorcism that this conspiracy of silence with regard to certain things, the important things, is actually well hatched down below. The more it is kept quiet, the more it fills up. Gehenna, the place of those who didn't